Alrighty, I am back. I had to leave earlier because there was a problem with the car, and I had to solve that. But before I left, I ran into a conundrum, and I spent some time thinking about how I was going to solve that, so we'll see. Just giving a few seconds so I can get everything running. I've got a 30-second delay on this thing, so there we go. I'll connect the stream, and then I will connect the YouTube thing so that I can see what's going on. I should pull the volume down, yes, and then I should pop into this thing. I do not want to cast the thing. There we go. Alright, so if you recall, if you were here earlier, I had an issue where the scales were broken. So what do I do? And actually I'm going to open up, before I do that, I'm going to go to here. I am on number 6. I went back to number 5 to test some stuff. So I'm going to go to number 6. Okay. So number 6, did I save these? Yes. So I got that saved, and this stuff's all attached as a single thing. But I did notice there was a problem. Actually, I'm going to grab this guy just to go to bind pose. There we go. There was a problem with the tongue lining up. So I had to figure out where that tongue is going to be. So I'm going to hit H. Tongue is where it needs to be. Alright, so what am I going to do? Well, I need to get these scales cleared off. I can handle it in a few ways. I, of course, can unlock the scales of all the things and do it anyway, but that might break a lot of stuff. What I'm going to try to do is export the skin weights and then call them back. So I'm going to grab this. So you can keep history, and when you go to bind the skin again, it'll take the skin weighting history, but I've had issues with that working in the newer versions of Maya. In Maya 2016, it worked just fine, but above that, you get the warning that there's a skin cluster that already exists, you want to create a new one. And if you say no, nothing happens. And if you say yes, I assume it keeps the skin weights. Like, it builds a skin cluster but keeps the history, I assume. But I've had mixed results. So I'm going to try exporting the skin weights of the pieces that I want. So I'm going to hit that option box. I don't know what resolution I need for this. Like, I legit don't know. The UV map is a 2048 by 2048 map, so maybe it's okay to do 256. Maybe that's enough resolution. I'm gonna go to 2048, I think. I think that'll give me more than enough resolution, and I'll say keep this aspect ratio, and I'll leave it as a Maya if, and then I will export, and it's going to ask me where. Let's put this, where's my OneDrive? I do hate OneDrive, but I am using it. It's like the people who want to get rid of plastic, but they don't want to stop using it. So OneDrive is good for sharing stuff, but my problem with OneDrive is it hides a bunch of stuff from you. And instead of giving you adequate hard drive space, everything's trying to push to OneDrive. OneDrive, from what I gather, I haven't reached the limit yet, but I've listened and read other people. When they get to the maximum storage capacity, it just erases stuff without warning you. I don't know how true that is. I've just heard that through the grapevine. So a little bit cautious about relying entirely on OneDrive. And also, what I have on this desktop for my workstation is not the same as my laptop, and it's not the same as the other one. So there are things that I don't want necessarily shared between all the different devices. I'll drop this into the Pulsari thing. And let's call this body, I'll say Pulsari, skin cluster. Tool settings. Anyway, that was my rant. Okay. Yes. I got an output error, but I don't know what it is. It got stuck at something. Still stuck at 57%. Hasn't moved in a hot second. It says it cannot find I don't know what this is. I don't know why I would get the error. This kind of makes me not want to most of the time. Words I can't say. Because nothing is ever simple, Nothing ever works the way that it should. There are days when I've just had enough. Like, I don't know what is going to be, like, I don't know. Is it still trying? I don't know what it's doing. And I don't know how accurate that is going to be once I take everything off. Oh well. It is what it is. I'm going to take this one, and I will export the new map for this. You know, this project has been just a disaster. I've been working on this thing for years, and I don't ever feel like I'm any closer to getting it done. Let's see how that goes. Like I was working on the car Thursday, or was it Friday? I think it was Friday. I was working on the car, and I'm doing the front exhaust manifold, so front and rear, and then there's a little elbow that kind of comes over the engine that connects the front and the rear. On the back, on the front and back of those, where that piece couples together to the manifold, there are 2 bolts on the rear and 2 bolts on the front, and there's a nut on there with a little wing on it to kind of help keep the nut from turning, so that you can tighten it with one hand without having to try to get a tool back there, because you can't really fit anything back there. Well, putting everything back together, and I've got the front manifold on, rear manifolds on, putting the side piece on, got the back tightened down, I've got the top bolt on the front tightened down, the one on the bottom I'm trying to do, and the wing snaps off, and there's no way to get a tool back there to loosen that bolt, to loosen the nut, right? It's like nothing is ever simple. Nothing's ever... In order for me to get to that, I have to take the entire manifold off to get to that. Because there's no other way of separating it, right? I have to disconnect the rear on that arm piece, or on that, little connection that bridges those two. I gotta disconnect the rear of that, and then I have to, because that'll separate, assuming that those two don't break in the process, right? That should release that arm piece. But then on the front, because I can't get that bottom bolt off now, I have to take the entire front manifold off and take the front and that arm piece off to get to the back of that bolt. Because of course, nothing is ever simple. That one looks like it finished out though. Okay. So I can hide this piece. I'll hide the body. Let me get the tongue, and I'll do that one. Export. So you can set up a path to your project, so you don't have to keep chasing it. I just never do. So another option I could do for that bolt, or for that particular nut, is I can Dremel it off. Which is probably what I'm going to do, but there's always a risk that it'll break next time if I have to get in there. So I have to get new ones, but those are difficult to find. Those particular nuts are difficult to find. I know, because I've been looking for them. Can't seem to find them. This is going to be the tongue weights. That rolled pretty quick. Alright. For the vines on the body, I really don't know how I want to handle those. Can I do them as a group? And then, when it comes to this particular thing that I've been doing with this character, I'm not really satisfied with the way that I did it. Originally, I had this going in ZBrush, and I was going to do... I sculpted both the alien body and then the leafy body. But I didn't like the way the sculpt was coming out. So I was like, well, what if I did it this way in Maya, where I draped the vines around the body? And it works, but it it doesn't look as good as I wanted it to. It doesn't fit the picture in my mind. So I was like, well, maybe I'll go back to the ZBrush and I'll just continue with what I was doing by sculpting the body and then just adding leaves on for anything that's fluffy, but having the texture of the leaves being carved into the model. I don't know. I don't know what the right way is. I think ZBrush would look a lot better for what I'm doing. But once I get this into Unreal, I'll know if it's going to be good enough. But Teresa doesn't look good enough. I got her in there with the staff. She's posed, and it just doesn't look good. So it's like, in order to get that to look better, I would have to take her back into ZBrush and add on some details in the face to get her to look more realistic. Because I don't like the characters looking plasticky for high resolution stuff, I was trying to get it good enough to where it would be in frame, but not require super high detail. Anyway, I'm lamenting, so yeah. Anyway, leaves are done. I haven't done those. Body vines. Let's turn the body vines on. Body vine group 1, body vine group 2. Let me see if I can do these as a single map. I probably can't. Or maybe I probably shouldn't. But here's the body. Let me attempt. Okay. I should probably create a folder for all these. Where did I put those? DGC. Sorry. Now, is this doing 1 per? So this is cluster 8 that is currently selected here? I don't know. Because I think there's more than 16 of these. I don't know. Like, I see them all in the list. I'm going to select all and try again. I don't know if selecting them makes a difference. I've never really exported these before. Here we go. So this is 727 bytes. Let's see. There we go. That makes way more sense. Now I have no idea if this is going to be one... I don't know how it stores the data like this, right? If it's going to basically a height map, black and white map, and all these things are on the same map, are they superimposed on top of each other? Does that make it impossible for it to really read it? I don't know. I guess I'll find out, but there's that. And maybe I will do all the body vines. Maybe I'll just do all the vines as one object, like I did with leaves. That might be better. I kept them separated because I thought it would be easier on the skin whitting process because I could hide the individuals that I don't need. But in terms of management, it's a lot easier to have a single object. Alright, so same deal with these guys. Skin. And those are already all selected. That's a good sign. Export. I probably should set up that address. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I'm just here whining about things breaking. Okay, so that worked for that. Let's do this as vine arms 201 maps. We'll export those. I'm interested in seeing what that map file looks like, because if all the skin weights are superimposed on top of each other, I'm not sure how it's going to read it later. Alright, so I'll get this and hide that and hide that. We'll get... that's a dead group, and that's a dead group. Vines on the legs. How's your Father's Day going? Are you doing anything? Any celebrations? I know we're taking her dad out to dinner. Alright, all those are stored onto there. Maya, projects, default, scenes, TGC. I guess I could rename the folder, because it's no longer TGC. It's been renamed. So we got body, we need arms, either legs. Legs. There we go. Whew. Okay, so those are all exported. So what I need to do now, I suppose, oh, and this is body leaves. Yeah, I think it's safe to save this file. I have the one before it, so... Alright, so I did legs, did those. And it's time to unbind everything. Oof, that got messed up. Alright, time to unbind, and I will not keep history. I'll just go ahead and delete history on this. So, delete history. Remove joint colors, unbind. There we go. So now I should be able to freeze the transforms on this, modify freeze. That leaves a transform geometry data on everything, so I'm going to go through and remove that as well. So delete by type, non-deformer. I actually grabbed regular history, but I think that's fine. Really, when I grab non-deformer, if you have skin weights, but since all the skin weight data has been removed, that doesn't matter. Okay, so this is bound, and that's good, and this can go into here now. Yeah. And really, there's a part of me that really just wants to combine all of the vines as a single thing. Because where the vines are not really connecting. That happens. I just don't want to reskin weight it, which is why I'm going through this process. But anyway, so I think I'm ready to do that. I will save the next iteration up, I guess. It's too bad I can't label these things. But I'll get the body, and I'll get the stuff. Bind skin. For the body, I did use heat map, so I'll just use heat map again. Okay. Now the first big test, of course, is opening the mouth. This is going to peel away, right? So assuming I can reassign the skin weights, I'm going to go up and do an import. Let me import the map. Now the body skin weight map broke, so maybe it will fail. Skin weight body, we will open. Let's see. That looks like it mostly worked. Welcome back. So that part looks like it was effective. And then the arm looks pretty good. Okay, let's do the leaves. So this to the leaf body. Skin, bind. I'm just going to do closest in. I did closest in hierarchy last time, although I don't think it's going to matter. But closest in hierarchy. Okay, and then this will then get the skin weight re-imported. Go through the motions. Ah, wrong file. I gotta get rid of the old Maya file. Maya broke at one point, so I had to make a copy of everything, and then alright, so this is the leaf body weights. Open. And the leaf body weights failed for some reason. I wonder if it's because I changed the name of this. But that shouldn't matter. Maybe it does. I'll put it back to leaf_r. I'll just copy this. Don't know why that got weird, but OneDrive. I really need to set up a project folder for this. This is getting tedious. Leaf body. So yeah, it was the name. Apparently you cannot change the name of the object. But let's test it and see if it worked. Nope, that didn't work for sure. That didn't work for shit. Well, if that didn't work, then I don't have confidence in the vines working. The body seemed like it worked. This part did not work. It's weird, the body... bound to skin cluster 1, this is skin cluster 2. But this just does not work. I guess I can unbind that one. I don't want to remove the colors. Okay. This is in the bind pose, allegedly. Root joint. Let's bind the skin again. Hierarchy, closest in hierarchy, okay. And let's rinse and repeat on the import of the skin weights. Maya, projects, default. Scenes. I wonder how many times I'm going to do this today. Leaf body skin weights. Open. I don't know. That one doesn't work for anything. Let's unbind it. We can try the vines and see how that goes. My confidence for the vines to work is not very good. I'm just going to do closest in distance, I guess. I think last time I did heat map, and heat map was okay in some spots, but it didn't do well in others. Oh, I do need the skeleton. So those are allegedly bound. Can I import the skin weights to all? And actually, I have multiple things selected, so I'm just going to make sure that all these are selected. And those are Vine's body. Did that work? That looks like it may have worked. A little bit off there. And those appear to be working. I didn't really do anything on the legs, so those look like they worked. I don't know why the leaves broke. But of the things that I had to skin weight, the leaves are the easiest. Ironically. Alright, let's try the arms. I'll close these. We'll get the arm vines. When I did the arms, I did them from the shoulder, the collarbone out on the bind. So I guess I'll try to emulate that here. Pretty sure I went from collarbone out here and that one. Can I do it off of selected hierarchies? Closest in distance, joint hierarchy. Let me do this one to these. Oh, helps if I grab the joint. Then I'll do this one to these. I gotta delete that thing. I gotta delete that thing too. Scenes, TGC, Pulsari. Those are vine arms. Did it work? Looks like it. There is a bit of a weird dip on the shoulder there. Let me check this one. So the arms worked, body worked. Will the legs work? Oh. So leg, I'll grab that one, and we'll close this down, that down. Alright, so again, let's grab these. All those are selected. And then import. That takes me back here. But that one's just a shortcut. Okay, so that's the vine legs. Good enough. This one. Okay. So all those are good. I'm going to save. Okay. So now I need to do the tongue and the leaves. So we'll hide the body. The way that I did the tongue is I did selected joints. It didn't let me do it from here over. It bound extra stuff. So I'm just going to do this and then the tongue itself. Skin, bind, options. I'll do selected joints, and then for the tongue, I think I did heat map. Apply and close. The tongue's a simple bind. I don't even have to pull in the skin weight data. I think that one's okay. Let's get the body back. Let's make sure that the mouth can open. Tongue goes with it, and then the tongue should be flexible. Okay, and then I need to put the teeth in here. So body, hide. teeth. Lower teeth, we'll put those up. Wow, those are awful. Not sure why the color came so bad on them, but it's whatever. These teeth need to be bound to the jaw. Technically, I don't need to skin weight them. I can just parent them to the jawbone, but it's fine. We will bind the teeth as a selected joint. It doesn't matter. Closest in distance is fine. And a single cluster. Apply. So that should go with it. Yeah. And then for the upper teeth need to go to... I guess I'll put them on the base head joint. And then apply. So this moves everybody. And then that should stay in place when that opens. You can see these are textured just fine, but the bottom teeth got weird. I don't know why. I think... if I had to venture a guess, so when you paint things in ZBrush, you have the painted layer, but there's also the base layer underneath, and I think the base layer didn't get exported. So I have like the grime, you know, on the teeth, but the base color's probably just not there. But I can go into Photoshop and add it in. Alright, so we got that. Body leaves are all in there, that's in there. Everything looks like it's part of it. Okay, so eyes. Look at them eyes, them eyeballs. Eyeballs, I'm going to go ahead and just bind those big old jelly beans to the head. Single bind. The claws and feet. Claws. Those are going to be weird because this is about where they hang out. I think it'd be easiest if it might just be simpler if I separate them all and then do a single bind to where they're at relative. Like this one would be pretty much bound to the wrist here. And these would be single bound to I'd have to see where that lies. It's just behind that joint though. So that when the finger curls, those claws would curl. Same thing with the toes. But if I bind them as a single object, we can always see how that goes. Let's do it as a single object. And we'll do them as main body, joint hierarchy. I'll do closest and distance. I'll do it as a single influence, and then apply it. And then we'll turn the body back on. So if I move this, the ones on the feet are going. So I think this part being bound to there would be good. That technically works. So to bind that specific part, I'm going to do this. Look how dense these are. These do not need to be this dense. Can I reduce them safely? Let me unbind the hands and feet. I'm going to try a reduce. Maya's really bad at reduction, but I want to try anyway. We have an unsmooth option. Let me try to remesh these. I wonder why I did... Oh, I had tessellate borders checked. Oh, I guess not. That's just awful. So that tool is just bad, but I knew that going in. How about reduce? We will reduce by 50%. It's just so bad. Hey AP, how's it going? Autodesk, you gotta get behind fixing your reduction algorithm. It sucks. You can do it by hand. They're not a complicated mesh. Let's turn off all the pieces I don't need. I don't need the skeleton either. I can do this. I can make it a live object, and then let me collapse this. Make live. Where is Quadra? Can't see nothing, it's all dark. Let's turn on wireframe unshaded. You locked up a good fraction of your USDC for earning passive income. So is it in a in like a staking situation? I guess for this I will do like that. I have I've got some Shiba coin that's being staked, but I haven't done anything with it in a while. I should just set it up to be staked and just leave it for a good long time. One, two. I think I want that to be here. It's super messy. I think what I'll do is come down to the bottom here and just make a big long connection. I might be better off just doing a just lining up a cube, cornering off the pieces I need. It looks like it's gonna get too messy. These are all basically the same object, just rotated in different space. Could go back to ZBrush and export lower poly versions. it's a bit better at remeshing. Because I'm turning a simple shape into a complicated thing, and I don't need to do that. Let's rethink that option. Because these are all the same shape, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I just moved it around. So let's go to a side view. Oh, that's messy. Okay, so this is going to collapse in. Whoops. I think most of the rough shape is there. Either round off the corners and move some stuff in. And also the underside of this. I was just debating if I should just collapse that point. How thick are these claw things? Just move this one over here. So that corner and that corner, pull in alright, look at these. I was just debating on whether I want to do that. Because I could just bevel this, or bevel this, instead of doing corner cut. Keep it quadded. Actually, is symmetry working? Yes, it is. See what happens if I bevel it. Turns into a mess, so I won't do the bevel. I do need to go inward on this. So for that, let's go do this. I'm going to need a cut here, I think. Yeah. And just have a supporting edge. I need a cut here. And I will need a cut here as well. But seeing as this cut here doesn't seem to do much else other than support this, I can probably just collapse the edge. Where is the option? Okay, so I guess I couldn't do that there. Let's try here. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. I think that's good enough. Alright, now I gotta make it sharp on this end, I guess. Turn symmetry on. I guess I could put a supporting edge this way. Or bevel this one. But I need to go sharper. Because I got a claw here. This is a bit more triangular. What if I took these out? What do those two pair up? That's weird. Huh. I guess I moved that one off axis at some point. Okay. I think that more or less does the job. What happens if I bevel this edge? Let's see what Smooth Preview has to offer. Okay. So with that in mind, I will create a copy, and let's do a smooth one level. There we go. So one level of smoothing looks like it'll work, and that's a lot cheaper than having whatever this is. Close enough. Let me get the UVs for that done. That's terrible. Planar, let's do it from X. Let's see what material this has. Don't quite see that on there. That's fine. I know it's going to be pretty much black. It'll be easier for me to see these when I line them up if I leave them like this. So this one, I'll get that here. Need to do those. Welcome to the stream. I am just retopologizing these claws here. I guess I could make it more angular. It's whatever. Now I gotta do the two claws. Okay. So that one and that one's in place. The ones on the hands are in place. So I think I can get the originals and hide. Let's turn the body back on. We'll just make sure these are where they need to be. Those are good. Good enough. Yeah. And yes. So now what I'm going to do is hide this guy. I suppose I can group them and then mirror them over. So, Control G. Whoops. Let me find that. And then Control D to duplicate. -1 scale, like that. I suppose I should have named these. So this will be left hand claw. Maybe I should do it by claw and then hand. Left claw index. Left claw pinky. Left claw, I guess, heel. Left claw little toe. Toe little. Left claw toe big. Claws left, claws right. Let's freeze the transforms of those. And put these into the main group. Weird. I must have had that selected. There we go. And then those things get to have their color put back on. I'm just going to use a material. Doing it the hard way. Okay. And then I will get the skeleton. The skin weights, claws. Do these have any construction history on them? Those do not. And these do not. Okay. pretty sure this is going to be fine there. Let's turn wireframe unshaded off. Skin, bind, skin, joint selected. Closest in distance. Yes. I don't know if the ankle is the best spot for that. But we'll do it anyway. I like how that peels off. It's a bit messy because it's a little bit smaller than the original. If I bind it to the knee, that would be really off, right? I don't know that I would be able to trust someone to do that, though. So 204 USD into 2800. Are you making a profit off that, or are you just keeping your original balance? Check these. I think this is safe to be here, though, because when the finger curls, oh, that's gonna get real weird. I mean, this finger's okay, or this joint is okay, but it's when this one bends that it's going to get real weird. I'm not going to worry about that too much for now. I just want to make sure it's there when I send it over to Unreal. Yeah, because that makes sense there. Ah. Let me unbind that one. And then I'll bind it to the knee and see how that goes. What happens when I bend this? It's gonna come out. I'll just bound it to the ankle for now. We'll live with the consequences. Even in game, you'd never see it. And I might actually be better off making this as part of the mesh, part of the body mesh. Where are you, toe? There we go. So what exactly is a combo order, and what you're doing? Is that like a pair, or is that just like normally with crypto you do a pair, like Ethereum to USD or something like that? Since the body leaves kind of took a royal crap, I guess I'll just redo them. We'll pop those on. Are these still bound? No. So what worked pretty well yesterday was I bound those using closest and hierarchy, I think. Because heat map failed. Closest in hierarchy and closest in distance had similar results, and I'll do 5. So if all things created equal, I should have that, a little wing. Well, that's new. That wasn't that way last time. Now the legs were pretty good last time. Man, that's so bad. Okay, let's try some skin weighting. Paint skin weights. We'll go ahead and turn that part off. We'll grab the root joint because that should have nothing. Where are you, root joint? Root joint. Root joint, you're going to get 0. Flood. Okay, let's do the hip. Left hip does not need to have anything down here. In fact, I think that should be pretty much on there. So I'm going to get, what do I have? Knee, ankle, foot. So let's do ankle. Left ankle. You're going to get 100%. So that should not be on. Who has that? Not the ankle. Foot. Case sensitive, kind of annoying. No foot. Let's do the knee. Knee does not have it. Did I do ankle already? Ankle doesn't have it. Let's do hip. Left hip. So left hip can be 0. The right hip is also pulling on that leaf. That one can be 0. You'll worry about the profits later. I haven't looked at the market recently. I guess maybe I should. What are my things doing? Everything's down today. But how is it from the week? It's down from the week, trending down for the month. I guess it's a time to buy. It is still technically up from the last 3 months, but it is on a downward trend. So yeah, I guess this is the time to buy, huh? I always miss those opportunities. Let's get knee again. That knee's not pulling. That ankle is not pulling. That foot is not pulling. Put that back to 0. And this leg will come out. That leg will come out. Go back into skin weights. Okay. Left hip does not need anything on the right. We'll get the lasso. So left needs no right. Same deal. This one. Ugh, you're such a... Not that one. Come on now. And then right needs no left. Okay, these are coming down to the hip. So left hip does not need any of that stuff. Let's put the legs back to normal. Alright, so this leaf needs nothing from the hip. Who else has you? This one. I guess pelvis. Pelvis needs no control for that. What else has control? Huh. It's time to go through the list, and I'm just gonna clear that. We'll start... I would say start at the bottom, but the ankle has it for some reason. Why would the ankle have it? Now, that looks like it belongs to the elbow, so I'm going to go ahead and get the left elbow. That'll just make life easier. So left elbow, you can have that. And then I'll give this one to the right elbow. This particular one and that particular one, I'm just going to use the hammer weights tool and see if it figures it out. These ones getting quite a bit of pull this way on the arm, but I think, because I like that wing effect, so maybe I'll paint these to the elbow. So left elbow, let's get add, and I'll do 10%. We'll go this way. And then I'll do the other one. Where are you at? You are 64-ish. What are you? 59-ish. This is 64-ish. Safe to say it's not a perfect spread. Alright, so that took more time than I wanted it to, but we are, I think, at a spot that works. Alright, so it's about 5:30, 5:26-ish. I need to get ready to go to dinner, but I appreciate you hanging out, and I will catch you later.